What is up, people? We are live with the MMA Mainstream Podcast. I'm James, with his co-host, as always, Kaelyn. Kaelyn, did you have a good Thanksgiving weekend last weekend?
It was good. I felt like I was on the longest vacation from work. I was gone for like a week, I think.
And there is
From work.
absolutely nothing wrong with that. I was only off on Friday and then through the weekend, and just busy. But glad to be back. Glad to be doing this again. It was nice to have the time off, but then missing the day, felt like we hadn't done this in ages. It's like almost forgot how to do it.
I know.
But we are back, and there are fights, I believe, going on right now because of Bellator. So let's go ahead and get into the mix. And it's let's see. Here we go. We'll start with our picks. We have Johnny Eblen versus Colin Huckbody. Weirdest name I've ever heard, Huckbody. I've heard of Huckabee. I've heard of Huck, but not Huckbody. We have Eblen at perfect 9-0 versus 10-3. I'm gonna have to go with Eblen on this.
Yeah, I was gonna pick him also.
Yeah, I feel like he'll maintain that streak. All right, let's move on to Josh Hill versus Jared Scoggins. Hill has the wealth of experience, but it's one of those situations of I've never heard of Scoggins. I'll be honest. So this could be his.
I feel like I've heard that name before.
I've heard the name, but I haven't heard it like a big deal.
Yeah, no, it was somewhere in the past that I heard it.
Right. All right, who is your pick?
Josh Hill. He's been in there for a while, seems like. So
I too am gonna go with Josh Hill. And now we have Emmanuel Sanchez versus Jeremy Kennedy. 20-6 versus 16-3. Ooh. I'll just go with the. That's exactly what I was gonna say. And now we're on to our championship bantamweight bout between Sergio Pettis versus Kajoy. I'm not even gonna pronounce that. Horiguchi, because I could pronounce that. Horiguchi. Both have a wealth of experience. Horiguchi with the better record at 29-3.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Horiguchi on that one.
Yeah, why not?
It is Sergio Pettis. He has been around for a long time too.
That he has, but
I'm still gonna go with Kyoji there.
Kyoji. All right, then I'll go Pettis just to be different, so we're not all the same.
Yeah.
So those are our picks for Bellator. Bellator's going on right now because it's Bellator. Of course, their fights usually take place on Friday, unless it's a big card, and that usually takes place on Saturday. But they are, I believe, live right now, at least with the prelims. So I understand if you people that tune out and you're like, oh, okay, Bellator, cool, thanks. Go have fun with that. But we're going to backtrack for a few minutes right now to talk about the last UFC fight night that happened 2 weeks ago when we did our picks. And we didn't fare too well. We tied at 2-2.
Oh.
We both picked Adrian Yanez, and he won by split decision.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of decisions on this card.
Boring.
A lot of decisions on this card. And then you picked Ronnie Yaya, and you got that and you got the unanimous. I picked Santos, and so I got the win, and she won in the first round by submission.
Oh, wow.
This one kind of surprised me. Michael Chiesa. We both thought he would get the win.
For sure.
No, not at all. And then also Miesha Tate. We both thought she would get the win, and we were wrong. She lost by decision.
Yeah. Yeah. I wasn't impressed with these fights.
With all those decisions, I only heard about Miesha Tate losing. I didn't hear about any phenomenal fights that took place on this card. I imagine they were all technical. I didn't happen to catch this card. So
technical and slow and kind of boring. I was hoping Miesha Tate was going to do something, crazy or.
I mean, we would all hope.
Get a submission, but and then, I'm surprised, but also not surprised. I don't know. I'm not really too hyped up on Miesha Tate right now. I was
really. So you were back in the day when she was more popular. I shouldn't say more popular.
Yeah, for sure.
When she was fighting consistently and not getting back into the game.
Yeah. Now it's just like she's there.
Gotcha.
I feel like she maybe tried to hype herself up a lot for this, and it's just like,
Do you think? Okay, now let's be honest. Do you think time has passed her by?
No, I think she's a great fighter still. It's just everyone else has something. Like Vieira has something. I think all her striking was pretty clean and landed on Miesha Tate. So she obviously, a girl like Kaelyn can keep up with someone like Miesha Tate, then obviously the talent pool
has gotten better
there. Yeah. And I think it'll only get worse for Miesha Tate, to be honest.
I was thinking that too.
But I did hear something. You know how her and that girl Aspen Ladd have been going back and forth on social media? I have a feeling they're probably going to make that fight because I think they want that fight. And I think
you're right. And I've been hearing about that too as a fight to make, essentially.
Yeah, but I think it's like a give Miesha Tate an easy opponent type of thing. I have a feeling that's going to happen, and I won't be excited for it. Unfortunately.
Well, I will be excited because I am a Miesha Tate fan, so it'll be good to see.
I just don't feel that hyped up anymore about her.
I understand. All right, now we're going to move on to this weekend's Fight Night card, which has some interesting bouts on it. We're going to start with the bottom of the main card with Alex Morono versus Mickey Gall. And we have 27-1 no contest versus 7-3.
Yeah.
Mickey Gall's biggest claim to fame, he beat up CM Punk.
Who hasn't, though,
I got nothing.
Yeah.
It's true.
It is true, but also I don't think I feel like I know who Mickey Gall is otherwise.
No, you're right. He's been fighting in the UFC, but what do we know about him?
I don't. And his opponents, I can't even name another opponent that he's fought. I know it wasn't that long ago that he fought, but I feel like he was supposed to be something better, but ended up just not. I don't know. Maybe I'm not sure if maybe he took time off or something. I don't know. I don't hear anything about him that much anymore.
Well, Morono has the wealth of experience.
Yeah, and he's been around for a while. He's been doing really good.
And also, if you look at the wins by Mickey Gall, can't get a knockout or a TKO to save his life, apparently. 86% submissions.
Yeah. I think Morono will get this one. Maybe a knockout.
I agree.
I feel like it'll come down to striking, I think.
I believe it will too. And so I'm also picking Alex Morono for the win. And I feel like that's going to, because it's him. So it's like, no, Mickey Gall's going to end up winning somehow, some way.
Yeah.
Just knowing my luck. Now we have Brendan Allen versus Chris Curtis. 17-4 versus 27-8. Both fighters coming off wins.
Chris Curtis. I'm going to go with Chris Curtis.
You're going to go with Chris Curtis?
Yeah.
Man, that's a difficult one because you have Chris Curtis who has so many wins by KO, TKO.
Yeah.
But then you have Allen with wins by sub. But then when you look at this, you know what? I too will go with Chris Curtis. Because if it, like some of these fight nights, a lot of them do go the distance. That's what I've noticed is kind of an average. And so I believe that's on his side. So I will also pick him as well. let's keep going up this card where we have Jesus Guida.
Himself.
Yeah, right. Clay Guida versus Leonardo Santos. 36-18 versus 18-5-1. Both fighters are coming off of a loss.
Most fighters aren't fighting anymore if you're Clay Guida.
Fact. That's a fact. Or they're in bare knuckle fighting.
I feel like Clay Guida should be there right now. Not that he's not good. He looks
Clay Guida. No, I'm a Clay Guida fan, but striking is not. He'll strike. He'll try. But that's not his thing.
He's just a little wild. It's so strange. And I don't know how he still has energy like he used to. Like, it's crazy.
I bet he probably takes like this crazy supplement we've never heard of.
He never stopped. He doesn't get tired either.
That you can't trace through any type of drug testing.
I don't know.
It's exclusively in a third world country. It's like
he looks like the ultimate bar fighter, you know?
Yeah. The ultimate bouncer. Heck yeah.
Both.
All right. Who are you going to choose? The Carpenter or Leonardo Santos?
Yeah, for sure. Guida. You have to go for it. Like, I don't know. He's such a wild card every time.
Yeah, you never know, especially with 36-18. And Santos has only had 18 fights. Or no, he's had more, but he's only had 18 wins.
And that's a lot of fights. And
it is. No, you're right. But the wealth of experience that Clay Guida brings to the table, I have to agree with you.
Clay Guida's lost, 18, and he's won 18. So it's, I think Guida will get it, though. I think he would. If he still has that energy like he did in his last, few fights.
I hope so, because I picked him to win also, and I hope he gets the win. Now progressing up the card. Hopefully this will load. If not, there we go. Jimmy Schrute versus Jamal Hill. 12-2 versus 8.
Schrute. You ever watch The Office?
That's what I was thinking. That's how I read it. Was Schrute.
Dwight Schrute. It's Crute.
Crute. I couldn't help it.
But he's good though.
Jimmy Crute versus Jamal Hill. 12-2 versus 8-1 with 1 no contest. Both fighters are coming off of a loss. Jimmy likes Resident Evil as seen by the tattoo on his chest of the Umbrella Corporation. Yeah, as a video game player and a dork, I know all about these things.
Certified dork.
Certified.
Yeah.
If I had an autobiography come out, it would either be titled The Clever Cracker or Certified Dork.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to go with Jimmy Crute on this one.
I am too. I feel like he's more versatile as seen by his wins by.
Yeah.
Compared to Hill.
He's been fighting a lot lately, I feel like, unless my memory is not well. But he fought recently, I think.
Not only that, better experience.
Yeah.
But the edge for reach and leg reach does go to Hill, but still taking Jimmy on this. A fellow James. So I too have picked him. Now we're at Brad Riddell versus, is it Raphael or Rafael? He's from Kazakhstan.
Probably Raphael.
Fiziev.
Yeah, something like that. I always hear him. I hear the commentators talk about him a lot.
They're both 10-1. They're both coming off of wins.
This is interesting.
This is a close, close bout.
This is gonna be a good fight. I think this one might be besides maybe the main event, but I think this might be a really good fight for this card.
Who do you pick?
I'm gonna go with. Oh man, Raphael. I'm gonna go with him.
That's actually who I was gonna pick, and I was picking it based off of he does have the reach and leg reach advantage.
He's really
also based off of his wins by. He does like the knockout, but he does have subs in his wins by column, so I feel like that gives him more versatility. So I too am picking him for that. And now we're going to move on to the main event of tomorrow evening. And Rob Font versus Josie Aldo. 19-4 versus 30-7. 30, man, Josie Aldo, he is like a grandpa who's still fighting, but he's not that old. He's just been competing since he was really young.
When do you know what age he was when he started UFC?
Started in UFC. Well, he was in WEC, so it was when they got bought out, and then they shifted all the fighters over. But he's been fighting since forever. The streets of Brazil.
I started watching UFC. So I didn't know him from anything else. I didn't know any of the other fighters from the other organizations that got bought out by UFC.
Oh, I was a huge fan of WEC because it started locally in Lemoore. And then once it got picked up, I was, when they moved to Vegas, I watched it even more because they also had the lighter weights, and I loved it. I loved WEC.
Yeah.
And then when they shifted all the fighters into the UFC, we are where we are now. But
but also Josie Aldo's been doing really well for whatever reason at a lower weight, which is weird because I feel like in the past he's had trouble making weight, is this still a flyweight? What is this?
Let's see. 135.
It is Bantam. Oh, so no, he used to fight at 145? I
believe so.
And he went down to 135.
If he went down to 125, I think he'd murder everybody.
I feel like he has gone down to 125 already once or twice. Has he? No, 135. I don't
think he can make it. I don't think his...
No, you're right.
I don't think his body can, withstand it, the weight cut of that.
Right, because
he's already super lean.
He even had a little trouble making the 145 when he was doing it. And I remember being freaked out when he was going down weight. I'm like, how the hell is he going to make that if he couldn't make the other weight? But he did just fine, and he fought better, which is weird because he's, had a really long career already. He's a little older. So, but he looked really good. I was really surprised. So I'm going to go for him for sure. I know Rob Font is good too.
You're going for Aldo?
Yeah, but I feel like this matchup, I don't want to say it's not a mismatch, but
okay.
I didn't expect Rob Font to fight Josie Aldo.
I completely agree. And because of what happened last time with Glover and how he got his championship, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to pick Rob Font to win.
We'll see.
But it's because of the reverse psychology.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
Boom.
We were supposed to not pick all the same ones, so there you go.
That's true too, but I mean, sometimes it's just logic.
It's obvious. For now, until we'll see what happens. Sometimes
exactly. But so, all right, you chose Aldo, I chose Font, but secretly, I'm hoping Aldo will win. Reverse psychology.
Now, does it say what time this thing is on? Is this like an early one again, or
let's see, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Oh, okay, normal. Okay, good. That's great. I'm tired of those 1 o'clock or 10 a.m. ones. Come on, because I'll see all the alerts throughout the day when I'm not able to watch it yet. And it's okay, cool. I already know who all the winners are. I still watch it, but it's it kind of spoils it,
Oh, I completely get that. Yeah, because you'll just go through social media and be like, great. Now I don't need to watch the card because it's been ruined for me. Appreciate it.
And then
thanks, guys.
The highlights on there also. You're like, oh, thanks.
You're like, that helps me all of none.
Yeah.
So not a ton happened while we were away for that week, but we were covering about 2 weeks worth of stuff. Triller happened. We'll discuss that a little bit later. And there were some comings and goings from the UFC. But first, we're going to start with a fighter we've reported on before, Luis Pena. Mm-hmm. He has been arrested again.
The last time we talked about him, we were talking about this.
True. And not much has changed, unfortunately. 2 more charges have been added, including battery, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
I just hope he gets the help he needs. That's all I really got to say about that.
Wasn't he advocating for mental health or something?
Yes.
I think that was a thing, and obviously he regressed, I guess, or maybe it just didn't work out. But he seemed really he was sounded like he was changed from the last time. Because I remember
him trying to, and
And then here we go again.
Yeah. So, and this was his second arrest, and he had been released
Was he cut
from the UFC prior. Yeah, he was cut after his previous arrest.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so that's unfortunate. Hopefully he can get it together. And then talking about other people leaving the UFC, Kevin Lee has been released from the UFC after 7 years.
Yeah,
Jeez.
I'm not surprised right now, though.
There have been other fighters that have been released, but they were not necessarily as notable. This guy was pretty much a mainstay for quite some time.
Yeah, like a couple main events too. He wasn't a nobody.
Very true. Yeah. So we'll see what happens with him if he gets picked up by Bellator, if he goes to the PFL, if he's like, screw this, bare knuckle fighting, Triller. There's so many options for fighters out there now. It's insane. It's insane.
I guess.
And then a fighter that's leaving the UFC because she wants to, it's on her own terms, is Felicia Spencer.
I was surprised. I feel like she was just kind of getting started, but she's been fighting MMA for a while before she got to UFC. So
she was 9-3 in MMA and 3-3 in the UFC.
Yeah, but she also had a main event in the UFC, and that was against Cyborg, and she tore her up. She lost, but she did really well against someone like Cyborg. So, I don't know, whatever, 31 years old. I'm 31 years old. If I had fought in MMA for as long as she did and did what she did, I wouldn't mind retiring as well.
That's true. Very true. While you still have certain, cognitive things and you're not missing a step, you're still all there.
She's not one to take a lot of damage either, I feel like. I feel like she gives a lot of damage. But I don't know. I'm not surprised. Is there a reason why, or just she wants to?
Let's see.
I didn't see.
I have decided to stop pursuing this opportunity and have no intention to continue fighting. I felt as good as I've ever been in my last fight, and know I could have more great performances, but after 18 fights, including a few wars, I know in my heart for future mental health that I shouldn't be in more of those wars.
Well, that's good. That's good. And then she's 31. She could do whatever she wants now.
Very much so. Good for her.
Got out alive.
Yeah.
She got out alive and fought Cyborg.
Now I look forward to where are they now with her a few years later and see what she's up to. I love stuff. I love stuff like that. That's me.
She probably wants a career, like a regular one.
Right? She's all, I work a 9 to 5 at an office, and it's quite nice.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, I have time off. I've already accrued. I just got my benefits package. My 401k. Amazing.
Now she's like a lawyer or something.
Right. Oh man. All right. Now some other craziness, because it's Jon Jones, and Jon Jones, who hasn't competed in quite some time, is just like, you know what? I'm just going to be all about crazy stuff. And Jon Jones is not happy with his former coach, Mike Winkeljohn, and he's letting everybody know about it. So on his social media, all he seemed to be doing is posting his thoughts about that gym and their decision to have him leave. Yeah.
It's a breakup. So I feel like, and I kind of caught a little bit of those messages that he put out there. I feel like he just is sitting and stewing about it. You know how like sometimes you break up, but then you send a slew of messages because it's like all bottled up and you let it out there. And then
I hate you. You ruined my life.
Yeah. I feel like that's what those were about. And I don't know what the actual deal was or what was said or not said, but I feel like that's what that was.
He's going to tweet a bunch of stuff going, I miss you. I love you.
It's all good now.
Right?
No, they're probably super done for sure. But I feel like those, I don't know. I think he wants the last word, and it's a lot of them. So a little emotional there.
Well, he sounds like a giant baby.
Yeah.
And dude, just
It's like, I
shut
don't
up and
think
go
he's
go fight
interested in-
somebody already. Like, you're one of the greatest of all time, and yet
go fight someone, but not your wife, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Because the last person to actually beat him in a fight was his mama.
Yeah, right. Well, you know, and I don't think Jones has any kind of like right to even say anything bad about anybody at this point, you know?
Right? For all the smack he's talking, it's like,
He should
really,
say,
dude?
thank you for
Really?
dealing with me all this time.
Yeah, thanks for putting up with my crap.
Yeah. Although, I don't know, Jon Jones is a really big pool, really big money fights for everybody. So, you know, I'm not gonna say
Yes, but he needs to
did them
fight.
favors, but yeah.
He needs to fight. That's the thing.
Yeah.
We could say he's one of the greatest fighters of all time. There's no doubt about it. But he
Yeah.
needs to fight, and he hasn't fought.
Right.
The only thing he's been fighting is the law.
Right. I could almost like say that if he would have just retired instead of getting to all this mess, he would be one of the great, and he still is one of the greatest fighters
He
ever.
would be and the thing is, the discussion, there would be no real discussion because there really isn't. He is, but yet his antics outside of the cage is what's really screwing up his legacy.
Well, it's screwing up the rest of his record, and
let's be honest, with Fedor, in Pride, he was this legend. Outside of Pride, he's been kind of shaky, but he's so stoic and so quiet that, and we still have Pride, like we still have what he did in Pride.
Yeah.
He could lose his next 2 or 3 fights, and yet we will still consider him a legend.
He's already a legend. That's not going to go away. But Jon Jones, man, he could have retired and then did all this shit and it wouldn't matter. He could have gotten away with not having to deal with any of this stuff if he had retired. Like, he could have retired and then once he got his shit together, come back and just be like, it didn't happen. Like, you know, fighters do, they retire and come back. He could have maybe done one of those.
That would have been nice. Get it out of his system at least. Jesus.
Well, he ended up relinquishing his belt, or he left the weight class. Is that what happened? Or he was, I don't want to say he was forced to. I don't really remember. It's been a while, but
I don't know if he was forced to, but he hasn't competed, so
active, and he left the weight class, and they left the belt up to Jan and whoever he took it from. Who had it? Oh no, they just fought for it. Him and
they fought for it, and then Jan won, and now Glover has it.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. Well, Jon Jones, good luck, dude. That's all I gotta say.
Get better. Yeah.
And then the big boss, Dana White, had some interesting stuff happen to him.
Yeah.
He tested positive for COVID.
Well, that sucks. I think a lot of people have done that already.
I think a lot of people have dealt with COVID. I know I have for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And he went the route of by contacting Joe Rogan and getting his help on how to deal with it.
A lot of people,
and that's fine.
Actually, well, yeah, no, that's fine. That's a whole other thing. But a lot of people have been contacting Joe Rogan because whatever he did worked. Sounds great. But I could just see where this is going with all this, like Dana White contacting Joe Rogan, the guy that knows everything, and he's, you know, whatever they think they call him, like far right or something. Like they throw some politics in there, so they're trying to do that with Dana White also because.
But the thing is, Dana White is already a pretty out there Republican, it's kind of known because of his support. But politics aside, he's just trying to do what he needs to do to get back to work.
And then that whole thing about some news organizations were flat out lying about Joe Rogan's decisions on what he took for it. So now when people, it's so funny because you'll see a lot of these like athletes and celebrities and people asking Joe Rogan what to do when they get COVID, and like surprisingly they're 100% better by doing whatever he did.
That's true. It's
kind of funny because I think it was Aaron Rodgers had contacted Rogan also and asked him, what did you take, dude? I need to take it.
These are also people that are on a different economic level, so they could just
They could get whatever they want when they want.
Exactly. Like for someone like myself,
like us peasants.
Yeah, no, that's not gonna happen. I could try and contact Joe Rogan on Twitter. I will not get a response.
He doesn't respond to people.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I could just see where that's going though, and I bet he's probably already better.
Right.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it's also Dana White. I'm pretty sure he can work from home.
He can do whatever the hell. Dana White can do whatever he wants for the rest of his life right now.
Because he's Dana White, damn it.
Yeah.
Pretty much. But, hopefully he'll
Bruce
be
Buffer
back quick.
had COVID also a while back.
Yeah. I believe Diego Sanchez is also dealing with COVID right now.
Is that what's going on with him? I know he's having health issues. But did not say
that's part of it.
Part of it. Well, what else is going on with him? Because I read a story and I'm just like, okay, they were saying how bad he was doing, but did not say what it was or what he's dealing with. And it didn't even say COVID. I didn't know it was COVID.
Yeah, it says Diego Sanchez hospitalized with serious case of COVID.
Oh.
And he says this has been some trying times.
Mm-hmm.
And then Bruce Buffer opens up about his COVID experience and getting vaccinated. Matt Brown has had it. Like, it's hit just about everybody and it's affected everybody differently.
Oh yeah,
so
that's what that's what
we don't want anything bad to happen to anybody who has it. And we just want them to get better and not have any adverse effects from it because it does harm people. So
permanently, yeah.
Hopefully Dana White will be back in the driver's seat pretty quick, which I don't think he ever left. He just went home for a few days.
Yeah, I feel like whatever Rogan took, that concoction of multiple supplements and stuff that I got from the doctor, I feel like I hear a lot of people saying that it's like gold. It's good. It works. So it's kind of cool to hear that.
I agree. I mean, I personally did.
They seriously say it's like magic. I'm like, well, that's great.
I personally did get vaccinated. That's me.
That's good.
And if I had access to all these things that Joe Rogan has access to,
yeah.
Bet your ass I'd still do it even though I'm vaccinated. So
yeah, it's just I think a lot of those things are hard to come by. So you gotta know people.
My doctor would be like, I can see you in 3 weeks. And I'll be like, yeah.
Nah.
Exactly. Even though I love my doctor, he's great. Anyways. Yeah. All right. And then Triller had happened during our downtime. That was quite interesting. Frank Mir fought on the card and he lost.
That's a word. That's a good word to describe it. It was
of course.
It was an interesting thing.
And then Mike Perry fought and won.
Yeah, he did.
By split decision.
Well, not surprised that Mike Perry won. I actually didn't see his fight. I saw some clips. Actually, I saw that he was almost finished there and came back and got the win.
Yeah.
So I should. Well, I don't know if I could even go back and watch the fight. I didn't watch it live or anything, so I don't know what it's on. But yeah, that was cool. Frank Mir, not so much.
Nope, not
what I saw made me not want to watch it. So, I don't know.
What was that?
I saw the highlight of Frank Mir where he was out on his feet, and it was cringy almost. Like I didn't want to watch it,
Well, I feel like any fight highlight with Frank Mir would make you not want to watch any fight with Frank Mir.
I know, but it's just like stop,
I could see that. I understand that.
It's just, it's not necessary for.
What did you think of the triangle ring?
I think it's retarded. I'm sorry. It is though. I'm.
That's not politically correct.
Yeah,
but I know what you mean.
I also don't give a shit. But also, I'm done with the shapes. Like they're just playing geometry with MMA now because I think everything's copyright. You can't have an octagon. That's UFC's. Bellator has a circle. BKFC has a circle ring, with the ropes. So what else you got left? Oh, a triangle. Let's do that.
And then you have a traditional 4 sides ring.
Yeah, but you got to be different. Got to be different and cool. This is so dumb. And I
have an idea.
What?
Just 2 posts and then ropes. Boom.
You know what's funny? It's speaking of Joe Rogan. He was always saying, like in his podcast here and there, he was always saying they should just fight on like something like a football field with no cage, no ropes. Just go for it. I mean, what else are they gonna do?
I don't know how I feel about that. Okay, as a pro wrestling fan, I've seen matches that have taken place in empty stadiums, in empty arenas, and those are exciting. As a wrestling fan, as a fight fan, I feel like they need something to no, these are your parameters. This is what you're competing in.
Yeah.
Because what if the guy's like, no, and runs away? Where does it end?
But also, yeah, I get it. Oh, that is true. Didn't think of that. There are some runaways there, even in the octagon.
Right.
But okay, so you got all the shapes there. You got a triangle. What else is left for the next organization or the next crappy organization that's going to try to come up with something new for MMA? They're so cool. You got to break away from UFC.
I want to say WEC had 5 sides.
Right. Yeah.
And then has anyone?
The hexagon. Most of them are hexagons.
Yeah.
The lower organizations.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like if you have just a ring, you're fine.
I don't know. They want
you have a space to compete in. Well, that's Triller being Triller.
Desperate. I feel like Triller is so desperate for whatever they can get, and that's why I don't really like it that much. I'm like, I feel like
the only thing. Go ahead.
No, I just feel like everyone's going to try to be UFC, and you're not, just because UFC is what it is. You're not going to do that. It's not going to be that.
The thing I enjoyed about Triller is the fact they did the verses with 3-6 Mafia and Bone Thugs and Harmony. That was the only thing I liked. Other than that, Triller's had their fights, and I'm just like,
circus fights. This one's a little more serious, but the fighters that they have in there, Mike Perry's good. But, Frank Mir, ex-UFC fighter, they're all going to be ex-UFC fighters or bar fighters. You know what I mean? Kind of like that. BKFC.
It's a new version of Tough Man.
Yeah. Ultimate bar fighter. There you go. In a triangle, because all the other shapes.
That's something I would watch. You put cameras in the bar, maybe have some tables and
chairs in there.
Yeah, ultimate bar fighter. I don't know if you put a referee.
Leave some of the bottles back there,
Yeah, just
Yeah, that's
hell
next.
Yeah.
That's next.
I'm still waiting for reality hits like Death Race and The Running Man.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for those. One day.
That's a good idea.
One day we'll get The Running Man.
Yeah. But seriously though, the triangle, I think it's dumb. Especially the shape, not as a triangle, but the corners, how are you gonna get out of there?
That was precisely my thought. Is you could I feel like you could trap somebody in there easily, and how are they really gonna escape? Go? Yeah, you're trapped.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's dumb. I'm sorry, but Triller to go that route.
Agree.
But we'll see what happens. I wonder if they'll get any interesting fighters. Probably not, but we'll see.
We will see. I feel like we will as things progress, because we will get fighters that have been let go or other situations. So there will be consistently a flow of fighters, but it's how interested are we as fans in seeing these fighters?
I feel like we've seen a lot from different organizations, and I feel like we have our minds made up for now, being that UFC still exists, and I think it'll always be that way. MMA is so great, and you have Bellator, which is really great, and Combate is really great. The smaller like Tachi and 559, what's another one? LFA is really great too. Those are great, and in their own ways, they're great because they aren't UFC, and I think that does make them great. But they feed into UFC. Like all these other ones that have been coming out are the ones that take the leftovers of UFC. I want to see young people get into UFC through these organizations, or like Michael Chandler that comes from Bellator, who's already great,
makes the jump.
Yeah, but man, I just feel like there's two sides of the spectrum. There's below UFC and after UFC, and that's what all these other ones are, is after UFC.
Yeah.
The old
I would like to see these promotions build with their own fighters, create their own stars. Chandler did become popular in Bellator and then made the shift to UFC, which was pretty brilliant. Seamless in his way of popularity. I feel like his popularity grew more.
Should have been there. He already
after he got to the no, you're right. After he got to the UFC. Then you have these other guys that, after they fought in these bigger companies, they go to Triller, they go to
the people that started off in UFC also. You know, I don't know when starts off in UFC, but you know, as far as their professional career, sometimes they do. And they've already been to UFC, so you can't. There's no step higher as of right now than UFC. So that's where you go. You go to those lower ones that'll take you, because you were such a draw in UFC. They're like, you know, come over here, see if you can make us our headliner. You know,
right?
But like
they try to bank off of those previous stars,
right? And I think there's definitely a market for that. Definitely should be. It's just it's not ever going to be UFC. And then I prefer those organizations before UFC, the lower ones like LFA and stuff like that, because that's where you get introduced to these young fighters.
And that's where fighters develop.
You know, they want to go to UFC. That's what they're there for. They're there to fight to get into UFC. I don't see anyone fighting to get into this Triller promotion, you know? It's like a before life and afterlife.
No, you're right. Definitely right about that.
Yeah. The afterlife, not so appealing. A little cringy.
Agreed. Now, talking about developing promotions, we have 559 Fights coming up pretty quick. That's on December 17th in Visalia at the Convention Center. I can't say enough great things about them. They put on a great fight show. They've been including jiu-jitsu matches in between some of the fights. So definitely recommend it. Now, next weekend, the 11th, if you're in Bakersfield, the Bakersfield area, or you want to go, MMA Fight Pass is having cage fights. We are doing this. It's going to be a thing. It's a promotion that was started with Archie. Archie was the brainchild of it, and that's going on next weekend. We will talk a little bit more about it next week. I'm excited. I'm going to be there, and I will be helping out on the production side. I believe we're going to be live streaming it. We're going to have boxing, we're going to have some jiu-jitsu, and we're going to have some MMA. So it's really all around combat sports, and I really look forward to it. It's going to be a long day, but I do look forward to being there for some live fights. I'm quite excited about that. And then also the venue that it's going to be taking place at, they've done the Point Muay Thai there. I want to see how the venue is set for MMA with the cage. So I'm very curious to see how that goes. I think it's going to be awesome.
Are they doing everything in the cage?
I believe so. I'm curious to see how the boxing goes in the cage.
That's great.
So that'll be interesting. Like, how's that going to work? So I do look forward to that. They're just exhibitions. So we shall see. I do enjoy jiu-jitsu in the cage. I think that adds another level to the matches. So
you have a wall, you have a wall.
Exactly. Yeah. Then you can wall walk into something, this or that, or escape.
Get out of something. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I definitely appreciate that. And then one of the last things we will be discussing for this show is local. Well, she's not really local. She's from here, but she doesn't train here, at least to my knowledge, anymore. Stephanie Frosto is competing tonight on Combat Days America, and I'm not sure what time that fight is taking place. I believe it's on Telemundo, but she will be competing on that card. Good luck to her. I hope she gets the win because, local, got a rep.
Yeah, for sure. So, yeah.
We shall definitely see. I was hearing something about Glory is going to be having fights soon, but I'm not quite sure. You're more the expert on that.
I'm not sure. I'll look into it, but they should by now. Sounds about right.
ever since I saw the King of Kickboxing, the title I'll never forget.
Yeah, for sure.
I can't wait.
Curious to where it's going to be at. And You know what's so cool is on Glory cards. Like I feel like there's that. Well, just because I've been watching it for a long time, there's always the fight cards are like people I know that have been watching for a long time. They're still there. I love it. It's like flashbacks.
I was very used to K1, and so now transitioning to Glory. Ever since you told me, hey, check out this card, I was like, okay,
Yes.
and I did. I was like, that was awesome.
But it doesn't even have to be a fight with Verhoeven or a champion or a title fight.
Very true.
So it's kind of cool what they do for Glory. I don't think it's every time. They have 2 fight cards. They have super fights and then their actual regular fight card, whichever one that they're promoting at the time. But those super fights are super fights. Those are fighters that have been there for a long time and they're actual super fights. It blows my mind that nobody cares about it over here in the United States, but
they gotta learn, and we're here to teach them.
More people do watch it. It has, it's got some momentum, but it's mainly in Europe. But all those fighters though are still in it, and they still do really good fights. And the super fights series fight card is really, really great, especially right before a really good regular fight card. So, I love Glory.
There's nothing wrong with that. All right. You got anything else for this week?
I do not.
All right. That's going to do it for us here at the MMA Mainstream Podcast. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you guys next time.